So when you started playing guitar and forging a different musical identity, shall we say, did your taste in the music you were listening to change as well? Because you were obviously trying to work out who you were as a musician.
Definitely. Like when I was younger, the albums that I loved was Stevie Wonder. I loved Michael Jackson. I loved these guys that could sing so high. When I heard Pete Murray, the game changed. The game changed. I went, oh, you can still have effect with the tone of your voice.
Hmm.
Votes, notes don't always get the votes.
Yeah, right.
And I thought, okay. And then, John Mayer came into my world, and then Leor came into my world. And, these beautiful Powderfinger and, these bands that something for Kate. Um, these artists that didn't necessarily sing right up in their register, but like just had as much of an impact. James Taylor, he was a massive one for me. Like, he barely goes outside of his range, but his voice is so powerful.
Hmm.
So then I started realizing that, okay, if I work on the tone of my voice, that can be my edge, not necessarily the notes. And even now, I don't really have that big of a range, really. I've worked on it, but there are a lot of singers that can sing rings around me. But I think it's the tone of my voice that I've really tried to perfect over the years, to perfect to my ears anyway, and the way that I like my voice to sound.
So did you go to any vocal coaching at the time, like in your late teens, for example, as you were thinking about the tone of your voice, or was it really just that you were training your ear to the point where you could recognize in yourself what you were looking for?
So I had singing lessons at school, and that was, I mean, looking back on it, I think it was more of just kind of a bit of a bludge session, really. Like, she played a few scales, and it's just like, okay, great. And she didn't really know what to do with a male voice, especially one that didn't have much range.
Yeah.
So that's when I started writing songs because the songs that I tried to play, I just couldn't hit.
Right.
Like at that time, Robbie Williams was big, and there was just some big, it was big singers.
Mhm.
And I wasn't that sort of singer. And I didn't want to be that sort of singer either. I wanted to feel how Pete Murray made me feel when I listened to his albums.
Mhm.
And I wanted to do that to someone or have that effect on someone. So that's when I started writing songs.